So I was watching Ash vs. the Evil Dead for the first time last week. Solid TV show, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I started noticing how music was used either during the action scenes or the end credits. They'd play classic rock tunes from bands like Iggy Pop, Deep Purple, Journey, the Amboy Dukes, and more. But what made me even more interested in the credits music was when the episode Trapped Inside played this.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The credits were rolling and I was listening to this track. I just had a sudden realization. Even though this novelty song from the 60s was supposed to be just a kooky, dumb, childlike song, in the universe of Evil Dead, it fits perfectly and foreshadowed the next episode as well. I started to think about all those times regular, everyday songs had this sense of dread or even horror somewhere inside them. From the instruments, the vocal deliveries, to even the lyrics, we've all heard at least one song dealing with something that was horror influenced. So I want to talk about a couple of them. Who knows, maybe you'll hear a track that has you interested in listening to more of the artist's work. Let's dig in. Horror is subjective. For some, a small house spider is the scariest thing on earth. For others, it's the open water, strangers, chickens, and so on. Music is very much like that. For some reason, the pieces of music that always stick out more prominently in my head are the ones that utilize special effects on instruments, unconventional use of vocal parts, atonal playing, and eerie sounding sparse pieces of audio. Like Frankie Teardrop by Suicide. It's got an instrumental that is sparse but has a very chilling vibe with a creepy story to boot.
Frankie looked at his wife. Shut up.
The Beatles were also ahead of their time as well, dropping some of the first few commercial avant-garde pieces of music at the time. I mean, I could be wrong, but hey, it's the Beatles.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
And some artists just made spoken word collages in a different language, like reading a 19th century poem called The Litanies of Satan. Music that uses either sparse instrumentation or effects on vocals that give the vibe of an eerie abandoned town or house always catches my attention. Like David Byrne's Horses. It sounds like someone or something dying or coming into being, taking its first few gasps and sputters of life. Or Hamburger Lady by Throbbing Gristle sounding like the woman in the story screaming or screeching in pain because of her body being horrifically burned from the waist up.
Hamburger Lady. She's lying and she's burned from the waist up. She's burned from the waist up. She's got no arm. Her ears burned off and her nose. Her eyelashes.
Something about noise and audio being tweaked to give off this otherworldly, eerie vibe with atonal instruments is something to love, and feels like maybe they had some influence from the horror genre of movies. I could see Frankie Teardrop being played inside of an 80s slasher flick, or Hamburger Lady being a background piece, a part of a mental asylum scene in a horror movie. I don't know, just me. But nothing is more horrifying than the real world we live in. From cannibalism in a small town in Germany,
Heute treffe ich einen Herrn. Der hat mich zum Fressen gern. Weiche Teile und
necrophilia, to murder. A lot of murder.
Rosemary, heaven restores you in life. I got out Richard Chase, I made it to my pink and padlock door. Fire.
Nothing seems to be out of the way for the mostly depraved people in the world. With music, the stories are mostly detailed in either a roundabout way or straight to the point. And it usually makes us engrossed in the story through the lyrics or the instrumentals creating the scene for us. Because let's face it, most people around the world are really interested in serial killers. I mean, entire shows, movies, and music have been based around or influenced by the stories about these crazy people. Like the happy-sounding Boomtown Rats song, I Don't Like Mondays. The lyrics being about the elementary school shooting committed by Brenda Spencer.
I don't like Mondays, I wanna shoot. The whole day down.
Or it could be a song about a spree of random murders committed by Billy Cook between 1950 and 1951.
Riders on the storm, into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown.
The Ted Bundy killing spree. A kidnapping after a concert in Washington.
Only wants a cracker. Maybe she would like some food. She asked me to untie her. She's really nice for a few.
To even John Lennon's murder by Mark David Chapman.
I just shot John Lennon. He said, I just shot John Lennon. I'm sad and sorry and sickening inside. But he's sad and sorry and sickening inside.
Something about these people who can walk around and live a normal life to just one day snap and commit the worst atrocities one person can intrigues us. Real horror lives wherever people can be found. It can live down the street, next door, or even in your house. Shit. Alright, time to end this look of horror in music with horror themes that give you the sense of what's to come in their own themes. It could be as simple as a childlike lullaby with sinister undertones. To an operatic theme giving off this ominous vibe of something evil and ancient. To just some nostalgic based horror themes. One you already know about, but still gives you the creeps for some reason or another. Themes in horror movies are always great at making you feel the atmosphere for what you're about to see. From uses of recorded audio from either a TV or the movie itself to give it an even more sinister feel.
Grave robbing in Texas is this hour's top news story. An informant led officers of the Muerto County Sheriff's Department to a cemetery just outside the small rural Texas community of Newt early this morning. Officers there discovered what appeared to be a grisly work of art, the remains of a badly decomposed body wired to a large monument.
To the theme actually giving off some of the characters' true motivations or backstories.
When I look into your eyes, it comes as no surprise. You're slipping away. And yeah, you're the love of my life. It's so cold at night. I'm begging you to stay.
To the melancholic, somber themes that give off a sense of fading hope or false beings. Each theme is usually meticulously crafted to suit the mood and feeling of any individual horror movie, which is why I love music and horror so much. Any song you listen to, whether it be happy sounding to somber tunes or even electronic music, each song has something in it to make you feel something in that moment. Me personally, I've shown a lot of weird or just downright odd songs and bands to family, friends, and strangers that have invoked some sort of reaction. And most of the time it's usually one of confusion or dread, which I guess is understandable, but then again, how can this song make you feel sick or scared?
Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away the rain.
Different things go into music for each individual person. I love Tubular Bells, but my sister thinks it's the freakiest song ever. And Courage the Cowardly Dog showed that horror and suspense could be done well in a children's cartoon, complete with themes that would fit any classic horror movie. So anyways, to wrap up, horror has always been a part of our collective lives. From the food we eat, to the dark corners of our room freaking us out, to the music we listen to. We just love to have a good freak out every once in a while. And while the world around us can be as scary and fucked up as any good horror movie, it's good to know that we can control just how freaked or disturbed we want to feel with movies or music. So thanks for watching, stay safe, and as always, peace.